Hi guys, today we are going to discuss ActiveMQ topologies in fabric environment. So yes, so I believe you are aware about fabric environment and ActiveMQ. So while working in fabric environment, in an enterprise solution, you would have set up ActiveMQ broker, and there would have been questions like which topology should should we use, so and how to use it and what is the best way, to so that you can utilize the facilities provided by fabric environment. So today we are going to discuss this. Yes. So guys, in fabric environment, fabric itself provide commands to set up active MQ topologies. So there are different topologies like load balancing and master slave, broker of networks. So using fabric environment, in fabric, the commands are available, which makes it easy to set up this uh, topology. So guys, to continue further, we are going to discuss load balancing topology and master slave topology. So these two are widely used topology. Yeah, the other one is broker of broker networks, or network of brokers, we say that. So but we would be discussing right now master slave topology and load balancing topology in depth. So further, for network of brokers, you can go through the ActiveMQ community site or Red Hat official documentation. There you will find how to set up network of brokers. So uh, yeah, let us first discuss what is load balancing topology and what is master slave topology. So load balancing topology, as the name itself suggests, that there are two or three brokers, there are more than one broker, I would say at least two brokers, and you want to share the load between you want to share the load so that two brokers distribute the load among themselves, between themselves. So guys, for this you can use load balancing topology. So uh, uh, so the benefit here is, your producer can your producer will be producing the messages, will be creating the messages and sending to the broker. So instead of, your one broker getting all the load is divided between two brokers. So that is the benefit you get. uh, so so guys, and what is master slave topology? Yeah. So master slave topology is, it's not it's not load balancing, but it's a failover, like master slave. If you're let's say you have two nodes and you want high availability. So let's say if your master node goes down, you always have a slave node. And once master node goes down, slave will come up and continue serving the producers and consumer or the clients. So yeah, we are going to discuss this master slave topology first, and then we will discuss the load balancing topology, and we will discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of both. So guys, before discussing master slave topology, there are some basic rules, like, so guys, right now I'm discussing about fabric environment. So please don't get confused with, you know normal master slave when configured in a standalone ActiveMQ. That is a bit different than here in fabric environment. So please don't get confused. It's different. So yeah, the basic rule says, we have to choose a group name of master slave cluster. So what is a group name? Group name is actually, guys, uh, so let me explain in simple words. Like, let's say you have different customers, some in Middle East, some in Asia Pacific region, and some in US. So we can create multiple groups like US, Middle East, and Asia Pacific, APEC. Or so based on the customer, if customer belongs to Middle East, then uh, that that group will be invoked. So what that group will have, so that group, for that group some brokers will be registered. Okay, so let's say Middle East group I have created, and in Middle East we have let's say in two countries we are having our customers, let's say UAE or Saudi Arabia. Saudi so in Middle East I will register both these countries, and in Asia Pacific I have India and let's say Malaysia. So I will register in APEC India and Malaysia. So let's say these are brokers, India and Malaysia. So if a customer belongs to Asia Pacific region, I will forward it to group APEC. If a customer belongs to US region, I will forward it to group US. If a customer belongs to Middle East, I will forward it to Middle East. So what it provides, it provides an isolation. Okay, so a customer depending on the group will be redirected to the brokers. And what brokers, there are multiple brokers which are registered to a single group. So then group will decide how, then group will take care of the failover of the broker. So yeah, that group will take care of the high availability. So that's why group name is required, and each broker in the cluster registered with the chosen group. Okay, so every broker should register to the group, and yeah, each broker must be identified by the same virtual broker name. Okay, so and the broker name should also be same, and we are going to discover what is a broker name. Normally each broker is deployed in a separate container. Let's say you have two brokers, so two brokers will be deployed in the separate containers. Okay, but their broker name would be same, and they would be registered to the same group. That we have to take care. So guys, let's say we have this command. Okay, let's run this. So I have fabric already created. What I am going to do, yeah, so guys, there is this is the command actually, mq create container broker, and replicas s2, and group master slave. This is the, so this is actually the broker name. Okay, so let me show you again. Yeah, so if you see this fabric mq name, and the name is this broker name. So as we saw that this broker name should be same. Okay, and so let's say replicas equals to 2, because I am going to create two containers. So I will say uh, create only two containers. Okay, and create container broker, so it will create it will automatically create two containers. This create container broker will automatically create two containers with the name broker 1 and broker 2, as the replicas is 2, so it will append broker 1 and broker 2. Group I have assigned master slave, so both containers will be having same master slave, and they are assigned the same broker name. The other thing which is missed here is kind. Okay, so if we see kind is by default, yeah, the kind of broker default is master slave. So let us say that this is, yeah, and so now guys, if you see here, two containers are created. Okay, broker 1 and broker 2, and they are already assigned this HQ broker profile. If you remember, this is the broker name. Master slave is the master slave. This is the group name. So this a server profile, you can say it's a profile is automatically created once we execute this command. Okay, so what this profile is to whichever container this profile is assigned, that container will act as a broker. So a child container is just a container if this profile is not applied. Once this profile is applied to it, that container becomes a broker. So now let us see how we can say it's a broker. Let's go to cluster list and grab the group name. Let's say we are so okay, so it is not filtered enough. See guys, so this is the group name, and against it we have this this is the broker name, and this broker name is having two is registered with two brokers, broker 1 and broker 2. So if you see, master slave is broker 2, master is broker 1. So already, you know, once we created using MQ create, broker 1 and broker 2 are created, and master and slave are already automatically assigned. And if you see, broker 1 is having these URLs registered: TCP, MQTT, AMQP, and stop. So this is it, man. This is it, guys. So we have a master slave topology ready with us. Now so guys, if you study this again, see, we have already chosen a group name. So group name was master slave, if you remember, and each broker is registered to this group. So how we registered it? So if you remember, in the command itself which we executed earlier, we registered it. Yes, so this command was executed. So each container, create container, we were creating broker, and replicas were registered to this group once we executed the command. So each broker must be identified by the same virtual broker name. This is also fulfilled because both are assigned to the same broker name, and we can this here as well, HQ broker. And the last one is, normally each broker is deployed in separate containers, so we are having separate containers here. Now guys, we saw that our master slave is ready. Now how to access it? Okay, so guys, as I said, like Fabric already provides, you know, APIs so that you can easily integrate with Fabric environment. So now yeah, as I said, so broker URL should be this. So normally when we create a client, a producer or a consumer, we provide a static IP and the port to connect to the broker. So here in this case, we just have to provide the group name. This is the group name. So as I said, like the brokers are identified using the group name in Fabric environment. So using this way, you can identify them. You can also identify with the static IPs and port, but the problem is, you know, if you don't configure IP and port specifically, then every time you restart the containers, the port would be changed. So it is always better to, you know, configure them with group name, or if you want static IPs and port, then configure static ports. So yeah, so configure, you can do that as well. So right now, as I have just straightforward created the brokers without configuring any port, any IP, so that means those are configured. So it would be, you know, not feasible to use the static IPs and port. If you remember, I have shown you the output of cluster list. So here, if we see here, so these are the static IPs and port. This one. But once I will start the container, restart the container, these ports will be changed. So this is not feasible to provide. So that for this I need the group name. That is one advantage. Yeah. So guys, yeah, what I have done here, I have created a my code. I have created a client. So if you see here, yes. So discovery fabric load balancing. Okay. So right now it is load balancing, but if you deploy it in your environment, you can change this to master slave. So because I have set group to master slave, this master slave, so similarly you can change this fab load balance group to master slave. Once you change this, only these settings you have to make in ActiveMQ connection factory, username, password, and this GMS connection factory is being referred to pool connection factory. Then pool connection factory is referred to GMS config. At last, GMS config is configured to ActiveMQ component. This camel component, this ActiveMQ component, this is AMQ1. Then I am using this AMQ camel component AMQ1 in my route. So this is the so this is the route. So actually this is consuming from URI. This will consume from test queue, and yeah, it will just print the body. And this is the producer actually. So it's a timer which will run in every 5 seconds. And yeah, so this is so what it will set, it will set the message body with the simple date, the current date, and yeah, then it will send it to test. So where it will send, so it will send to this discovery URL. This URL is a group name, and this group name is registered in the Fabric registry, and against this registry there are some brokers registered. So so that Fabric will decide, this group name will identify which is the master broker, and it will send the messages to that master broker. So guys, let's try to configure this. So I have some, yeah, let me create a profile first. Okay, I'm going to tell you, no need to worry each thing. Yeah, so I have created a profile. This is just a profile, and I provided a feature camel. Why feature camel I have provided parent? Because this is a blueprint, XML, and it is using camel. So I have to provide this feature camel. So you would be interested why feature camel only. So guys, feature camel, if you see here, this it is having a feature as camel blueprint. This profile is having features as camel profile, camel blueprint, fabric camel, and camel core. So these are required to deploy any blueprint blueprint bundle or a camel bundle. Yeah, so that is it. And then this thing, some error, let me restart it once more. Yeah, restart it. Let me execute that again. Yes, so it is executed. So guys, now we see profile display example. Yeah, so we have set parent as feature XML, and we have set features as active. So we know why feature camel is parent. We now I would tell you why ActiveMQ camel. So if you see here, we have set this. There are multiple ActiveMQ, connection factory involved, ActiveMQ component involved. So this ActiveMQ camel is, this feature is having all those bundles required. So this is it. Now we have to install our code. Okay, so so how we can do that? There is this command. Okay, guys, yeah. So guys, what I am doing here right now, so I am creating a child, and that child is nothing, it's a child, and it will have the client code. So what client code it is having? It is it will be having, okay, I forgot one thing. uh, so before that I have to add my code. So this is the code. Okay, so guys, let me open this. You might be interested in, it is already set to master slave. My code, I am building it. Okay, yeah, I build it, and now paste. See what I am doing, I am adding a bundle to my client profile, and in profile I am adding this bundle, camel MQ discovery. So this is added. Now if you see here, pom.xml, this is camel MQ discovery, camel MQ discovery. So same bundle it is. Now I have to add this bundle. So what I am going to do, I am going to copy this. Yes, so we will use it later. Okay, let's first concentrate on this. I'm creating a child. The child name is this discovery client. Okay, and I am adding my profile to it. Okay, which profile? This profile is having the client code, which will try to access the brokers. Now let us check the logs. So within instance folder, these child containers are created, and discovery client data log. Yeah, so some error, guys. So let us say what is the error? Service not found, discovery agent scheme not found. Some problem here. So we are missing something. Okay, so let me try to add MQ fabric profile. Okay, profile list, grab MQ is there, MQ base. Okay, yeah, so there is a feature info MQ fabric. Yes, so there is a MQ discovery bundle in MQ fabric feature. So let us try to add this as well, and let's see. uh, Profile, edit. Okay, features, MQ fabric example. Yes guys, so we are done. So I should add this as well. So I have to add this as well, so that MQ discovery feature can be enabled. So what this feature provide, MQ fabric, this MQ fabric feature provides the discovery component, so that this discovery, what we set here, that discovery fabric, it, can be, you know this component, uh, so that this blueprint is aware about this component. So we have to install this feature. So otherwise it is throwing that error if you don't. So this is it, guys. So let me copy it here as well, so that it help us in our future references. Instead of this, what we can do, yes, yeah, this is it, guys. Now let us see broker 1, broker 2, cluster list. In cluster list we see that broker 1 is the master and broker 2 is slave. Let's go to broker 1, container connect broker 1. Let's say ActiveMQ dstat. So guys, there is one consumer attached. If you would have seen, the concurrent consumer is 1, that's why it is 1, and the NQ count is 8 and the DQ count is 8. Okay, so it is consuming and dequeuing. It is messages are being produced and messages are being consumed properly, and this is the test queue which is being referred here. Where, yeah, this test queue and test queue. So guys, we haven't provided any static IP. We have on just based on the group name, the the brokers are identified. This is done. So let's now see broker 2. What is anything there? Nothing. So see, this broker 2, there is nothing active right now, because it's a slave. So slave means there is no active MQ queues, and broker is not registered. So let us now stop. Broker 1. Let us see this. Okay, man. Now let's see the output of cluster list. It's still slave is broker 2. So in ideal situation it should change. Okay, if it is not, then there is a problem. Yes, if you see this broker 2, now master is the broker 2. Okay, and earlier we saw it, because earlier we saw fuse, yeah, broker 1 was master and broker 2 was slave. So we shut down the broker 1. So it took some time. It takes around 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, yeah. So now broker 2. Let us go to container list. Now guys, this broker 1 is stopped. We cannot go within it. We will connect broker 2. Okay, perfect. 4 NQ and 4 DQ. So this is it, guys. So we saw that, how we can easily switch between the master and slave. Now there is very important concept here. If you would have realized that we haven't shared a common data file. Data file means it could be a KahaDB, or it could be a different it could be a KahaDB, or it could be your database for persisting the messages. So right now we haven't done this, so there is no such common shared device, so we have to provide that. How we are going to provide that? So we are going to using this. So this way we should provide a persistent data storage. So basically, like, it is my local system, so I can provide this, but in production scenario it should be a shared file system like NFS v4 or GFS or something like that. Yes, so guys, while creating the broker itself, you should provide this. Okay, so that will have, once you do this, your messages will be visible to master as well as slave. Otherwise slave and master would not have the common messages, then that could be a problem. but using this you can easily configure the shared persistent storage. Now guys, there is so this in Fabric environment, what is the difference between Fabric, the master slave in Fabric, and standalone master slave of ActiveMQ? In a standalone master slave, the locking is done. The locking is the shared locking, the shared persistent locking. So the lock is kept with the shared Kahadi there. So whoever occupies that lock becomes the master. But it is not the case with Fabric environment. In Fabric environment, locking is done due to the by the zookeeper, or you can say zookeeper is the actual, you know, zookeeper is the actual, I would say, zookeeper is the actual medium which is creating and maintaining the registry. Okay. In Fabric environment, zookeeper is a component of Fabric which is creating and maintaining the registry. So this master and slave locking is done by zookeeper. In Fabric environment, it is done by zookeeper. So zookeeper layer, so that's why I said it takes around 20 to 30 seconds to, you know, switch from master to slave, because due to the zookeeper locking, because yeah, because if we stop the master server, so the new lock is created using the zookeeper registry. And yeah, there is one disadvantage as well. Now we are going more deep into it. So there could be a problem, like as I said, like your ensemble is down. So ensemble is down, then that means your zookeeper registry is down. If zookeeper registry is down, that means your this master slave is also down. So till your ensemble comes up, this will be down, this broker will be down. So this could be a serious, you know, concern for different department or different architecture, because even if ensemble is down, they don't want their brokers to be down. Yeah. I have seen such scenarios where customer reported that they don't want this. They want ensemble, even if the ensemble is down, they want their brokers to be up, because you know, for critical customers, sometimes they cannot lose the data, or they want high availability, because if the ensemble is down, complete broker is down. So yeah, ensemble recover itself, but it might take some time to recover. And even if the ensemble recover, let's say there is a network outage, okay, and ensemble is down, let's say there is a 2-minute network outage, so 2 minutes ensemble will be down, and once after 2 minutes ensemble will be up, and then it will take again 30 to 40 seconds for this zookeeper locking to be up again. So after ensemble is up, and again 30 to 40 minutes it will take to identify a master or slave. So this could be an additional overhead for some customers. So there is an alternative locking as well. It is similar to the standalone master slave locking, which is provided in non-Fabric environment or in a standalone environment. So user can configure that too. Yeah, the alternative locking mechanism. So that is also provided. But the disadvantage with this locking alternative locking mechanism is, then it will not use Fabric features, like you cannot do discovery. You have to provide a static IP and static ports. So that is a disadvantage. So how you can configure this active locking mechanism? You have to disable this zookeeper locking mechanism first. How you can do? You have to just set standalone equals to true. Standalone equals to true in this IO broker name PID. We will see how, where. Let's go here. Okay. guys, yes, profiles, MQ broker, yes. So if you remember, this is the master slave and this is profile HQ broker. So we have created a HQ broker and this is it. Broker name PID, server broker name. This is server hyphen broker name. So here we have to set standalone equals to true. Once we set standalone equals to true, that means it will not take part in zookeeper locking. So it will use the standard shared file locking system, file locking persistence. So this was one thing. And enable the shared file system master slave locking mechanism in the CajaDB persistent layer. So for this, yeah, the second thing is you have to enable the shared file system master slave locking. So you can enable it using the official Red Hat documentation or the ActiveMQ community. So this is the shared file system is you have two brokers and you have a shared CajaDB. Okay, so what you have to do in the ActiveMQ.xml, you have to provide the same path to the CajaDB. So once you do that, that is enough. You don't have to take care of anything. Whoever gets the lock, whichever broker become starts off early will get hold of that folder, the shared CajaDB shared the DB folder, and it would automatically becomes master. So what you have to do from your side, you have to just define the common CajaDB path in the broker.xml of both the brokers. So this was for alternative locking mechanism, but just remember that it will in client side you have to provide a static IPs like this. Okay, you cannot use this group name based discovery. Yeah, so guys, this was all about master slave topology. Hope you would have got the idea behind this. There is another topology like load balancing topology. Okay, so guys, this load balancing topology has some limitations. Let me first tell you what are the limitations. As it does not have a shared CajaDB, so it is not it is not widely used because it is not. I shouldn't say it is not widely used. I should say that it is. It mostly does not have a shared CajaDB, shared persistent storage. So it is not used for. It is mostly used for non-persistent messages. Okay, and load balancing topology means load will be equally distributed between the different brokers. The prerequisite for these is you have group name should be there as well, and each broker will register with the group name, but the only thing it differs with is each broker must be identified by a unique broker name. So each broker will have a unique broker name, whereas in master slave topology we were having each broker would be having same broker name. So that is the basic difference here. And yeah, while we create load balancing topology, we provide kind equals to standalone. Let me show you this profile again, this kind. If you see here, we created this master slave broker. Here kind is set to master slave. So by default it will act as a master slave. If you want to create a load balancing topology, you can set kind to standalone. So this way you can configure. So guys, I think you would have got some idea about how to create master slave topology and when you can use alternative locking mechanism and how you can create clients. So and yeah, obviously load balancing topology as well. So guys, that's it for today. I think you would have got some idea, and yeah, let's meet again with some another topic.